And welcome back. It is WXCO Morning Report, part of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Here at our downtown studios, 56 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. It looks like it will be another beautiful day. In fact, a very, very nice weekend as well. Just keep tuned in for details on the forecast every half hour here on 98.9 WXCO. I am Chad Holmes, joined by Ian Welsh. Ian, again, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
Wanted to talk about a couple of deaths, and just wanted to mention because people, that have brought, I think, a lot to our lives here in central Wisconsin. One of which is Bill Ferrario, the former University of Wisconsin Badger and played for a short time for the Green Bay Packers. Passed away this week at the age of 47. He'd also suffered for some personal issues in recent years. But still, it's one of those situations where you hate to see anybody pass away at such a young age. And I've been told that he had to suffer for some injuries after his football years that caused some problems as well. So condolences to the family and friends of Bill Ferrario. And also I wanted to touch on somebody that has been a big part of the radio business here in central Wisconsin for a long time. In fact, I worked for him for a few years back in the late 1990s, early 2000s. In fact, I had my first full-time radio gig under this person. And I found out yesterday that the owner of Muzzy Broadcasting out of Stevens Point, Rick Muzzy, who is the owner of WSPT 97.9 FM and also WPCN out of Stevens Point and B104.9 Country Radio, he passed away yesterday. And he is, again, I worked for him a couple of different stretches between 1996 and 2001. It was the first time that I ever had an opportunity to work full-time in this business. And he is somebody that was a survivor when it came to local radio. And in this era where there's so much consolidation with corporate radio, to have folks who are local radio people that do still believe in local radio is vitally important. In fact, in addition to owning these radio stations, he was on the air late in his career. In fact, he had his final show on 97.9 97.9 WSPT just 2 weeks ago. In fact, 2 weeks ago yesterday. He had been their morning show host for quite a while, and he stepped away just over 2 weeks ago, and they had a celebration on the air 2 weeks ago yesterday. And again, I love radio. I love what radio is able to bring to listeners and to communities and the importance of it, even as technology changes. But the idea of the corporate radio is something that has not helped radio. It has not helped radio in local communities. So for anybody like Rick Muzzy and others who are local radio operators, somebody who does have feet on the ground in their local communities, people that do hire folks to be on the radio in their local communities, to be out there at events, to be part of their communities, it's vitally, vitally important. And I was there back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think, and if I'm not mistaken, Rick Muzzy took charge of those radio stations in Stevens Point back in the early to mid 1980s. So well over 40 years of local ownership in Stevens Point, and these stations heard here in the Wausau area and throughout central Wisconsin as well. So it was an important part of our radio ecosystem. And personally, again, to have that opportunity to get hired there in 1996, first as a part-timer, then moving on into a full-time role, very important in my radio career. So when I heard this yesterday that Rick had passed on, it was sad news indeed. I think it's sad news for people that think that local radio is important. So again, condolences to Rick. I knew his wife, Eva, back in the day as well. The folks that work for Muzzy Broadcasting in Stevens Point and the entire Stevens Point community, especially where the radio stations are based out of. Condolences to all. And again, just wanted to mention that here this morning as well. Local radio is important. Local radio with local ownership is important. And Rick Muzzy did a good job in terms of keeping radio local for the folks in Stevens Point, especially. And again, hopefully the next ownership of the stations in Stevens Point and the stations of Muzzy Broadcasting continue to believe in that mission like Rick Muzzy had.
Absolutely.
The time is 7:29. Coming up in 23 minutes or so, we'll be joined by Paul Micklig. He will be talking Wisconsin sports as we head into the weekend. So make sure you stick around for that. Coming up next, it will be information update, including the farm report. We keep you up to speed on what's going on in farm news in the morning at the bottom of the hour as well. Plus a look at the weather forecast, a very nice weather forecast coming up for this weekend. With Ian Welsh, I am Chad Holmes. It is the WXCO Morning Report, part of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow here on 98.9 WXCO.
So strong about you when you gazed up at me, and the answer was plain to see, 'cause I saw the light in your eyes.